Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, NWA Power Review Show, coming off the back of Samhain. NWA presented Power on Roku. Now, you will have noticed no Miss Fiona Lockra. Now, we didn't do Power last week because Fiona, unfortunately, even with the same VPN as me, it just wouldn't work. And this week is no different. Unfortunately, Fiona can't watch NWA at the minute, which, if I'm being totally transparent with you, is going to make review shows difficult going forward. NWA is Fiona's baby. I don't want to keep doing these type of review shows on my own. So we may have to make a decision about what we do going forward with NWA and whether we continue with it on the show. Hopefully Fiona can watch it next week and we can be back on and back with it again. It just really weird how I can see it on the same VPN, but Fiona can't. So we need to anyway, look, we need to have a look at it. But this week on Power, we kind of see it's new blood week. There is so many new faces on NWA Power, which is really, really good to see. And I'm really looking forward to it as we come from the power station as the reigning champion, Big Daddy Thrillbilly Silas Mason, comes out. Now, last week at the end of Samhain, he was meant to face Tom Latimer, but Tom Latimer was attacked by Matt Cardona, who, as promised by Billy Corgan, the next time he got into an NWA ring, it would be for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and that's exactly what it was. He did have the title shot. He was unsuccessful in that title shot, and obviously now we know Matt Cardona back with the WWE. And Thrillbilly made a point of that. He said, "I beat you so bad you had to change your name back." Well, he did, and then it's back to Matt Cardona. But he murdered Matt Cardona, is what he said. You know, but he said that right before he could sit there and bask in his glory, a self-obsessed, narcissistic piece of trash come and stuck me in the back, and that was Latimer. And he was saying that there are consequences to your actions, and basically these two had a bit of a coming together, and Real Billy did offer him a chance to get on his knees and apologize, but they decided to have a fight. Latimer and Mason still hasn't finished between those two. What I will say is what you see on Latimer, sorry, what you see on Tom Latimer on Power, to what I saw of Tom Latimer on the internet yesterday, is Latimer on Power, he had his usual hair, but on Instagram. He's cut his hair very, very short. He looks like he's 10 years younger. He looks fresh, does Latimer, with his new haircut. You won't see it on Power. You'll have to see it on his Instagram. We finish with that, and then we go to the Immortals. They're running through the accolades of the Good Brothers. They wonder what will happen when they face the Immortals for tag team gold. Interesting. We don't know. We really do not know what's going to happen when that happens. Should that happen, will be a great match. Should it occur? We're looking forward to seeing it. But we've got some order restored, at least a little bit of order restored before we bring to our first contest. Joe Garley, Danny Dills, Tim Storm on the comms as usual. And we get a rematch from a few weeks ago. El Dragón Nihan against Big Strong Mims. El Dragón Nihan picking up the victory the last time these two guys met, and I'm still not sold on El Dragón Nihan. I am sorry, everybody. I don't know if I'll ever be sold. Or it would be like Daisy Kill, right? Fee wasn't too sure on him straight away, and then she likes to say maybe it'll happen. Maybe. Maybe it will happen. These two, listen, it was good. It was okay. It was a good what it's going to say on the tin. Meat slapping match. It was enjoyable, but again, I'm still not sold on him, and I'm sorry about that. I can't be sold on him yet. He's not. He's not. El Dragon Niha for me is what I would just call a big guy. I haven't seen nothing that's. It's just like he's an old school big guy, and I think with the way that the big guys have evolved over the years. Not that it's not nice to see an old school big guy, by the way, but I just feel now there needs to be more of a game than just power, and that's all El Dragon Nihan brings, in my opinion, of course. Mims is on the other side of it. He's not the biggest, like as in the height, but he's got a big frame and he can move and he can do some interesting stuff. And yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. I'm just not sold on El Dragon Nihan, but what I am sold on is the Pope. However, this week he returns. He stares down Mims. By the way, the refs get knocked out at this point. I must point out, sorry. He stares down Mims and then attacks El Dragon Niha, which allows Mims to roll him up, and the ref gets his bearings, the 1, 2, 3. And big strong Mims wins the match as him and the Pope stare each other down. What is going on here with Mims and the Pope? What really is going on? I don't know. Last time we saw these two guys, they weren't friends. So what is happening with Mims and Pope? Who knows? I tell you what, I do know. I'm hyped for the next match when we get there. Hollywood Haley J returns with Rachel Ley in the tag match coming up very, very shortly on Power. I love Haley J. She's so good. She is charismatic. She has got it all. I am really surprised that she hasn't inked a contract somewhere. I really am because she's got it all. She has got it all. And she doesn't play, and neither does Rachel Lay. I don't know if there was a rhyme in there or whatever, but yeah, interesting. Looking forward to it though. But Haley J, world class, absolutely world class. But before we get to there, we go to good old Papa Joe, who says the slime balls are marked, and the country gentlemen want those US Tag Team Championships. And guess what, guys? Well, they're going to have the match next week. But guess what? They're going to do it by the book. Sure you are. Yeah, sure you are. Here we go. Right. Rachel Lay, Hollywood, Haley J. Even the team rhymes. Hey J, Lay J. No, okay. Against Sirena Veil and Vipress or Vipress. Sorry, Fiona's better at pronouncing her name than I am. Four really good competitors though. I would say that we've seen Serena Veil has been real. I mean, she was trained with KFW, and you can tell the Page sisters have had the influences there. She is very, very good, really good, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed this match. I thought the four ladies in this absolutely killed it. Some really good spots in this. We kind of get showcased everyone's bit of everyone, which is what I really like in this as well. I do love the Dracula's assistant, in this as well. There's so much. So Serena Val, do you know what? I look at Serena Val, and not that she was I mean, she was the outstanding one for me in this match, but she definitely. Oh, so I can see her winning NWA gold. I'm not saying necessarily the Burke yet, but TB title, tag title. She's got something there. Vipress again, someone that's and I'm going to run out of greatness for Hollywood Haley J and Rachel Lay, but I am really into Serena Val for me. Just something about her that really, really is, and I think something big's on the horizon for Serena Val. But nevertheless. It was Vipress that gets the pinfall with the STO on Rachel Lay for the victory. Hollywood AJ still wanted to have a fight at the at the end of this, but let's say it didn't happen, so to speak. But Serena Val, Vipress, that both of them really, but Serena Val especially is one I'm definitely keeping my eye on in the NWA. I feel as if the future for her has got championship gold in it. Not to say Vipress doesn't, but Serena Val for me is one that I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of on NWA Power. EC3. Now we know he's left the NWA, but he's still around at the minute, and we need to enjoy him while he's still there. And he still stakes a claim for the US Tag Team Championships as well, which is interesting to find out. I like that. I do like that. But obviously, we got Cesar. Yes, he's taken on the Cesar of Exodus Pro. He's Pretty Boy Smooth anyway. Um, kind of Christiano Argento. But Pretty Boy Smooth, he wants the US Tag Team Championships. I want him to go for the US Tag Team Championships. However, knowing what we know, and that's EC3 is no longer there, it's a little bit difficult to see how they would win it. But perhaps CeeLo can step up and take the reins, so to speak, of the Holy Grail with Pretty Boy Smooth, and maybe they can go for the US Tag Team Championships. Right. Dr. Vic's abode. Now we've seen Tiffany Nieves and Co in there. But he's on the phone this week with an acquaintance and he needs help with something. That story just gets more and more confusing or weirder every week. But you know what? I'm here for it. I am here for it. I want to see what goes on because that is just a really weird dynamic they got going on there. But it's good for me. I'm enjoying it. So let's see more of it. But next. We get the man Mountain himself, as Fiona calls him, Pretty Boy Smooth against Cristiano Argento. I wouldn't say this was a match, really. This was really just Smooth taking out the trash in a lot of ways, and God, he hit the penthouse bomb on Argento. I think he's literally still falling from it. It was just unbelievable. Smooth is, well, smooth by name, smooth by nature in this. And yeah, that's a very interesting one. With Pretty Boy Smooth and EC3, but he decimated Argento in this. You know what, Argento is growing on me now. I used to call him the funny looking fucker from Exodus Pro, but I like Argento. I think he's got something. I want to see more. I will see more, obviously of Argento Hold the Line, which is Exodus Pro's next show, which we're really looking forward to seeing. But it was after the match that where things got interesting. Knox and Murdoch come out and had some words with EC3. Um, it was quite interesting because EC3 was seemingly taking it in, and Smooth and CeeLo were kind of like, "What's going on here then?" You know, like, but yeah, what was going on? And EC3 was like, "Okay, I'm not sure." I'm not sure. But we'll wait and see. The Page sisters had their little promo before their match, for their main event match in a bit, which we'll get to. Colby Corino was back in the ring, minus neck brace, which is always good to see. And you know what? He really, it is so good to see him in the ring, not wrestling yet, but still there, doing what he does, talking about coming back. And he did say at the end of this that in 2026 we're going to see Colby Corino wrestle again. And that for me is absolutely amazing news. It really is amazing. I want to see Colby back in this ring. I'm sure all of the NWA fans do now. He's obviously re-signed with them as well. Such a great athlete, such a great worker. I can't wait to see Colby back inside that ring. And we hope it's sooner rather than later. But of course, when he's healthy enough to do so. Right. Main event time. Pretty empowered. Kenzie and Kylie against Herra. Herra? So sorry. And Teal Piper. Yes. Yes. For those of you that are asking the question, it is the daughter of Rowdy Roddy Piper. I can't. This is so good, and I'm so. You could tell as well. You can just tell. So good to see her. And Herra was a bit of a weird one with her face paint on and all the outfit. It was looking really weird. Piper and Kenzie start this match, and I tell you what, there was a little bit of like I would say Piper comes out swinging a little bit, but I think like there was I won't say rookiness of it because she's not a rookie, but like she kept missing the blind tags that they were doing and whatnot else. Um, so the Page sisters were really in control for the majority of this match. But when she made the tag, you know, Hera, Hera just doesn't feel any pain. She was absolutely going crazy in this, and she's good. I mean, they're both good. I mean, but Hera, jeez, I would definitely want to see more of that. And then they just go into a big Pier 4 brawl. Kylie went for a basement drop kick that misses, and Hera catches her into a one-arm sort of camel clutch chokehold. She tapped. Now, Kylie Page taps, but she has her foot on the ropes, and the referee misses the fact that Kylie Page has her foot on the ropes and gives the victory to Teal Piper and Hera. And that, what we would class that is we would class that as a bracket buster if that was the Crockett Cup, right? A huge, huge, huge win for Teal Piper and Hera on this one. And I tell you what, there's going to be some questions to be asked of the referee for certain in the back about that. But what a massive victory for you guys to win on your NWA debut. Hera and Teal Piper pick up a massive victory over the Page sisters. And if that doesn't tell you that there's perhaps a future in the NWA for those two, I don't know what will, because you don't beat the Page sisters and leave the company. That is certain. So I want to see what happens next. We're getting a lot of new faces on NWA, which is nice, the refresh. We're losing some, so it's good to be introduced to some as well. But overall, Sirena Veil is an absolute star in the making as well. Vipress was good. Hollywood was great as always. But these two were tremendous to see and picked up an amazing win over the Page sisters. And we haven't finished yet because we go backstage to Mr. Aaron Stevens with the Slime Balls and Drake before we could have a word. Slime Balls have their match next week, and also, which isn't as pretty, is Alex Misery. And he can't beat him either, which is Alex Misery and maybe Carson Drake coming to blows next week. Someone that we do know is going to be on next week in terms, and she's going for it, sorry, for the Burke, Giselle Shaw. The Burke next week against Markova will be an absolute brilliant match. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant match. And I was wrong. That wasn't the main event, by the way. My notes went off and I thought we'd finish. I had to turn the page. No, the main event. So Giselle Shaw back in NWA. We're making her NWA debut next week. And going for the Burke, going for Markova. Now we get to the main event. I'm sorry, boys. Oh, Odinson. Odinson and Kratos, the Immortals against the Hardway, the veteran Jack Vaughan and Dalton McKenzie. God, this was a fucking fight. This was a fight, a big, big fight between these four. Uh, they're just crazy. They really are. I mean, they just beat the shit out of each other. That's I think that's what I've written down. Beat the shit out of each other because that's all they did. And it was great. It was really, really fun to see. We know that I love the Immortals. I think they're brilliant and they're so good. And from the fact that they weigh what they weigh and how big they are, they can fly around the damn place, and that's what makes them unique, and that's what makes them so good. I was talking about the evolution of the big man when I was talking about Dragón Nihan, and the prime example of what I'm trying to say is look at Odinson and Kratos and what they do. That is where the big man is right now. That is what people are expecting. That's the excitement that they can bring, and Dragón Nihan doesn't do that, which isn't it's not to say you can't be different, but I just think that the big man nowadays is Odinson and Kratos. It's like a Brian Cage. Brian Cage can do shooting star press, and things like that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being an old school big man, but at least bring something different to the fight. Like these guys do. This was great. I loved it. I knew that the Immortals were going to win, and they did that, of course, with immortality. They're always going to win the match, but it was a great match to see. Hard hitting, what we like to see with the NWA, some hard hitting matches. Really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed Power this week. I really hope that Fiona is back next week because we really can't do this without her. It is really a shame that at the moment Fiona's unable to see NWA. I don't know what the problem is with the VPN. Like I said, I do it, I watch it, same VPN, so I don't know what the problem is. But hopefully she'll be back next week, and hopefully you'll be back too. And it's a bit of a delayed power because I wanted to give Fiona as much time as I could possibly give her to watch the show, but unfortunately she couldn't do it. But we'll be back next week with NWA Power, and hopefully Miss Fiona Lochran will return to the pod. Until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and good.